Hello students, today we are going to study the next topic beta. The topic name is generation and conduction of impulse. We know that neuron or nerve cell, it is the structural and functional unit of our nervous system, and how the electric signal in the form of impulse, it passes through the neuron. The two prime concept we have to understand beta, that these dendrites, as we have discussed earlier, they receive impulse from the surrounding neuron. So impulse is going to receive by these dendrites, and they provided the impulse to the cyton. Once cyton generate the impulse, it is carried through the axon away from the neuron cell. Okay, so in that manner the impulse has to be transferred and reaching towards the synaptic node. The synaptic node is interconnect with another dendrite of another neuron. So in that manner this impulse channelized throughout the nerves of the neuron cells. Okay, now we have to understand, once we are going to study this axon portion beta, this axon, the margin, that membrane of axon is called axonal membrane or axolemma, and this axolemma, it is surrounded by one fluid. So here this portion, suppose this portion of axon we have drawn here in detailed manner. So as I was telling, inner to the axon, here certain proteins and ions are present, and outer to the axonal membrane, okay, the membrane of axon beta, in a particular fluid, again certain ions are present over there. Now we have to understand, into the axonal membrane, that means inside the axon, in this portion there is high concentration of potassium ions and high concentration of negatively charged proteins are present. Are you getting? Whereas the sodium ions, they present inner to the axon in low concentration. So you can easily see in here bacho, the same manner I have drawn the diagram. These blue colored negatively charged proteins, they are abundance into the inner to the axon bacho. Okay, and potassium ions, thereafter they are again having the excess number, but not with the comparison to the negative protein. Okay, then sodium ions also, they are in less in concentration into the inner to the axon. When we talk about the outer side to axonal membrane, that means outer side to axon, when we talk about bacho, so here the higher concentration of sodium is present, higher concentration, okay, always remember, and low concentration of potassium is also regarded in this area. This concept is very important bache. Why? We know if there is multiple ions, the particular area or site always appear the certain charge on the basis of number of ions. The ions are charged atoms, charged particles. So here bacho, if there is negative charge ions are much in abundance, okay, very much in abundance, and if there is positive charge ions are less, what kind of charge is, what kind of electric charge present over there? 100% negative charge. So in manner it is present here. Inner to the axon there is higher amount of negatively charged protein, and that is why this inner portion, inner membrane portion, it is going to represent negatively charged, negative electric charge area. Are you getting? Whereas at the outer side, you can see bacho, there is positive ions are present in abundance. So outer to the axonal membrane, both outer side, you can see I have drawn here, there is positive charge, electric charge can be seen here. This concept first of all we have to note down. The second thing is that beta, this membrane, this neuron which is not going to generate impulse, that means when no impulse is going to be carried from this neuron beta, at that stage this neuron is called polarized neuron. Okay, still it is polarized neuron. Why it is polarized neuron or nerve cell? Because still it's showing the two different electrical charge condition. Outer to the axonal membrane, what is there? Positive charge, positive electric charge present over there. And inner to the membrane, there is negative charge we can see present over there. So this neuron is called polarized neuron, which shows the two different polarity of electric ions. Are you getting? So this is the concept of polarized neuron, and this ionic balance, that means this electrical charge maintenance, is done with a phenomenon called sodium potassium pump. The sodium potassium pump, it is the active transportation of sodium and potassium beta, in which the three sodium ions, they pulled outside from inner to the axonal membrane. From inside of axon, 3 sodium ions are going to be transported outside, and 2 potassium, this one potassium, maybe this one, or we can form one more potassium here. So 2 potassium ion, they should be carried inside, they should be transported inside. Are you getting? This is called sodium potassium pump. The phenomenon of active transport of sodium and potassium, in which 3 sodiums are pulled out for gaining 2 potassium ions into the axon. Are you getting? And that is why this condition is going to maintain beta. When this condition is going to maintain, always remember, in polarized neuron. What is polarized neuron? Where there is no impulses going on. That means this neuron is at resting stage. So in that resting stage, this is the polarity of electric ions is seen into the neuron. Outer to the axon, positive charge present, whereas inner to the axon, negative charge is present. If you have this concept in good manner, then we can study the next topic, how the impulse transported from one area to another area of axon beta. Okay. One more thing is there, this axonal membrane, it is semi-permeable beta. It only allows the selective ionic transport. And as I was telling, at resting stage, sodium ions are purely impermeable to the axon, whereas potassium ions are permeable. Okay, this is the concept. So I hope you got understood about this polarity of neuron, and in next segment we will be studying that how the impulse is going to be generated and how the impulse is going to be transported through the axon.